Hello, everyone. Hope all of you guys are doing well. I am doing well, just so you guys know. And today, my guest is Schecter. I am so happy to be here, and I'm so looking forward to our interview. So, hi, Stephen. How are you doing?
Hi, Raheen. How are you?
I am doing awesome. Can you please introduce yourself so we can kick off?
Thank you. I'm founder and CEO of Much Smarter. We're a learning company that develops learning games that help young people develop effective habits of thinking, feeling, and learning.
That is awesome. And that is actually really relevant to something that I've been wanting to do. That is really play more learning games because, yeah, I'm just not a puzzles person, stuff like that. And it's a very big part of our school too. But let's start from the beginning. Because how were you when you were my age? How was your early teenage life?
Well, it was, I think, a very changeable time. I would say each year was a bit different, but I would say the two main themes for me in high school were I did not relate very well to school at the time, and I related very strongly to music. And one of the reasons why I didn't relate well to school was that I was too busy comparing myself to others. And that's a big caution that I share with the students of our company is you focus on you and your skills and what you want to accomplish and not stress yourself by comparing yourself to others. So I was unmotivated in high school. I was mostly focused on wanting to make a lot of friends and be popular. And the one area where I was focusing on excellence was in studying classical piano. So in classical piano, I learned how to take something difficult and break it down so that what I was working on every day wasn't difficult. But then when I put it all back together again, it was easy. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was setting up my future in education because I had learned how to approach difficulty. And then later, when I was called upon to help young people, I knew exactly how to approach it.
Yeah. Now, I personally think that your, education experience throughout the year really affects who you become and how, you sort of perceive the education system as an adult too. Like I've interviewed so many grown-up educators, and some of the experiences are awesome. Like they were like, my mentor, Michael Strong, he got accepted into Harvard and Yale and like so many, big schools. But he decided to make, education, not education, schools of his own. So he saw light, even though his experience wasn't, a bad experience. But I think your experience really reflects who you become as an adult, or at least how you perceive anything related to education.
So I think the most important thing is the learner herself or himself. I think that the person who truly knows how to learn can learn anything she wants. And that's guided my educational philosophy from the beginning. So I've attended some great schools, and we see Much Smarter as kind of an extended school for our students. But the main thing is we want to give the student the keys to their own learning. Once they truly understand how to use this, nothing can stop them.
That is so true. So again, everything that I'm gonna bring up that is related to, learning and games is gonna be from my own experience. So I go to the Socratic experience founded by Michael Strong. I am not a STEM person. I'm not a sciences techie person. And what we do mostly in class is we play different games. And some of them are so engaging that I still play them. So some of them
Right.
are so interesting. And some of them, the guide really has to, kind of have my attention there for me to, be listening and everything. But I think learning games are an awesome way to learn and engage children like me that I'm just like, looking around, waiting for it to be over. But when, something really catches my eye and my attention, then I'm all in. I'm like fully committed to it.
Yeah, I think it is a great thing about learning games is that they are engaging. We look at it even deeper. We look at it as the activity itself can be seen as a game. So if you go back to what we were talking about, my classical piano experience, I had a very great teacher in piano, and what she taught me to do was to approach practice and all the little steps you take to learn as music. So it never felt like hard work. It never felt like drudgery. And that's the way we find is most effective to help students see. So if I want to learn something that's new and difficult, if I can approach it in the spirit of a game of skill, I'll approach it with confidence. If I say, I don't know, take a subject that many students are afraid of, like chemistry. Oh, it's chemistry, it must be difficult. Then I'm going to shrink away from it. So here's the way we teach students to see challenges as games of skill. It's not about you or about how smart you are. It's just about a game, and do you choose to learn how to play this game? And when you approach it that way, you're not stressed out, you're not making it a pressure thing. And we find that liberates the brain to do its best work.
Yeah. Now, what I want to know is how exactly did you get the idea to start Much Smarter?
Well, it started when I was a parent. I have grown children. I was a parent in New York City, and I began thinking about my children's education, and I began thinking about, well, what is it I want them to learn? And I came up with an answer. And the answer was, fundamentally, I want them to learn how to use this. I want them to learn how to use their mind. I have no idea what they're going to choose to do, but if they know how to learn and they know how to use their minds, then they're going to be able to create a life for themselves. So I said, if I ever have an opportunity to impact education, that's what I'm going to be about. I'm going to be about teaching young people how to use what they're given. And that's how my intention began. At the time, I was developing products for large and small companies, and it wasn't until later that a window opened which called upon me to start teaching young people.
That is great. And so Much Smarter is an online platform, correct?
Yes, it is. And we have a game in the United States. We're developing a game in the United Kingdom, and our games, we are very excited about them and about the potential of these games for liberating young people's potential. The results so far are extraordinary.
That is great. And so the games are they for like younger children, or do they like range from younger children to, all the way to high school?
Well, we started at high school and we're working backwards. Our intent is to start at age 6 or 7 in time and have an array of games that help educate young people from K to 12. Are you familiar with the phrase K to 12? Yeah.
Yes, I am.
But because of just circumstances, we started with high school kids. And our next game is going to be for middle schoolers, but our intent is to start at the very beginning. Since our mission is to teach young people effective habits of thinking, feeling, and learning, wouldn't you agree it's best to start right at the beginning?
That is so true. And I think the younger an individual is, or, even like a child, the younger they are, when they start learning these things, I think it's better because it really helps them shape themselves into a better young adult, that's some like in high school. So yeah, I asked the high school question because my guide, the STEM guide we have, Stephanie, she spends like a lot of time looking for games like, that are learning games that are going to help us, and that the ones that make us think and, our brain hurt. And then we're just as happy when, we find answers and we play and we, uh, have skills. So I just wanted to have a platform like yours that is, better for, and easier for her to access games, and for us too. It's like all in one platform, because usually we go from platform to platform. So yeah, that is, I think, something really special about it.
It's wonderful. And so you're already engaged with learning games in your high school education.
Yes, we are. That's so we do half the time we do math and half the time we do science. And most of science is actually just, we play different learning games, and we solve, puzzles. So that is what we do. And I think it's really good because we learn many things along it. And for me, what was the biggest thing was definitely not just like, I don't want to do it, but actually like taking part with a team and working on it together, I think is what makes it very special and more full of learning.
I think that's great. That's great. And I think you're starting the conversation with high school is great also. I think that the reason why I agree with you that it's good to start at the beginning is I began my educational company working with high school kids. And I find that by the time a student is in high school, they've already locked in ideas about what they can and can't do. And that's why I think it's great, as you put it, to start building the strong habits early, probably around age 7. That's when the mind is perhaps most open, and we haven't locked in beliefs that we're going to later have to unravel.
That is very true. And I think by the time that someone's in high school, I think they've realized school sucks. So before that, if you can make it interesting and you can spice up learning, I think it's very good, because then you don't have such ideas about learning in general, because I think these are very harmful ideas for your own self.
Right, right.
Yeah. And so one more question. When I was taking a look at your profile, and I saw this, and that you're doing learning games, the first idea that came to my mind was, I should engage my younger brother in it. He's 7 years old, so he's at that peak age. And for parents, is this a free platform or is this subscription based? How does that go?
Well, for parents, our first game that's available in the United States is for parents in the US, and it is I guess it's termed a freemium. We have the first 30 days free, after which it's a subscription. And any further information about it can be found on our website, muchsmarter.com.
Yeah, and I was going to link it in the description when I put this interview on. So everyone that is interested can go on there and check it out. So now that our interview is almost coming to an end, what is the last message that you'd like to give out to all the parents and everyone that is listening?
Well, thank you for that question, Raheen, and thank you for this conversation. I've enjoyed it very much. I think the main message for parents, as a parent myself, I would say, recognize that your child is going to get there. I think the biggest thing I've found in advising parents is 3 words: give them time. We all have a desire and an inclination to move towards our potential. And sometimes when we look at a young person at a moment in time, we are concerned or even sometimes judgmental about what they're doing. But people have a way of unfolding at their own pace. And so give them time, they get there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephen, for being here today. It was awesome talking to you and learning more about Much Smarter. So I will definitely link it in the description, and I would check it out for my younger brother and would pass the link out to my school so that, you know, all the guides there, that be middle school guides or high school guides, can utilize it for learning purposes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raheen.